To our conversation that we have the first Monday of each month with the Laramie County Commissioners. And this morning in-house with me in the studio is Commissioner Troy Thompson. Troy, welcome back.
Good morning, Dave. Pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you back. A lot of things going on, and we appreciate you coming in and updating us on all that has happened or is happening. And certainly things have calmed down a lot, I guess, since you were on with us last time when we were talking about budget.
Yeah, they certainly have. And you know, like I told you, we've been kind of relatively quiet and slow. Not a lot going on, which is, I should probably knock on wood or something, because that's kind of nice.
Of course, we've got the Laramie County Community College bond election coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, yeah. That's a big thing for our community, and people can still early vote today in the atrium of the county building. But yeah, please get out and vote tomorrow. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that has generated a lot of controversy among my listeners who fell on top of all the other tax increases and what have you that they're experiencing, that they really question the timing of that.
Yeah, and that's always the question with these things. You know, tax. Everybody hates the dang word tax.
Everybody hates taxes, don't they?
And I'm no different. I will tell you, I've always looked at LCCC as kind of the gem of our community, and what a wonderful thing for us to have here. And I've always been very proud of it, and certainly very supportive of it. For everything that they're trying to do out there. I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm in Leadership Wyoming class this year, and last month I was in Rock Springs, and we took a tour of Western Wyoming College, and remarkable facility that they have out there. And as we went through and discussed with the faculty and staff there, we kept hearing about the industry buy-in. You know, they've got the Trona mines there, they've got oil and gas, and truly remarkable industry buy-in for that facility. And it's a win-win situation, kind of a symbiotic relationship, because if we can train these kids to work in those facilities, in the Trona mines, then obviously it benefits industry. But we just don't have that amount of oil, gas, Trona here in Laramie County.
But we have a lot of other things that we're getting some buy-in.
Yeah, we absolutely do. But I looked at that and I thought, boy, it really kind of drives home the point. We need to be supportive of our community college, and
of course with the wind energy. Of course, they have one of the few programs at Laramie County Community College, as I understand it, being offered by a college on wind energy.
Yes.
They have people from all over the country come to go to class there for that purpose.
Absolutely. You bring that up. We have Walmart, just our last meeting, we approved a wind turbine to be built on their location, and they have already established, it actually isn't Walmart, but it's the Fairfield Energy, I believe, that's building that for the Walmart distribution center. They've already got a relationship, if you will. I don't know if it's a contract, what it is, to have the students from LCCC, to be out there hands-on, helping with that wind turbine, whether it's construction, repair, whatever. But again, truly remarkable opportunity for the students at LCCC.
And then, of course, with the data centers coming in, there's always demand for that, and for trained employees for that. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, certainly is. And we go back to industry. My understanding is there is industry requests of LCCC. Hey, listen, we're going to need. It keeps feeling like we're going to have this. We've been saying this for 3 or 4 years now, that oil and gas is going to boom here in Laramie County, and I don't know if it will or not, but it's my understanding industry's been asking Laramie County Community College, hey, listen, we need these technical jobs. Can you please help us to provide these students with this instruction? So it feels like that's on the rise as well. But again, that new tech center, or the flexible technology center that they're proposing to build, is truly important for the community.
All right, let's don your headphones and we'll take a listener call. Good morning, you're on with Laramie County Commissioner Troy Thompson.
Yeah, Dave, this morning on the radio, I just wonder if there's ever if there'll ever be a time when the government doesn't come after more of our money. But this morning on one of your news broadcasts, I hear where our conservative governor now says, well, the Department of Transportation only has half the money that they need. They just dinged us for 10 cents more this last legislative session. Will there ever be a point when the poor taxpayer out here doesn't continue to get clipped for more money, and will there ever be a time when government becomes more efficient? I'll just hang up and
okay, good questions.
Listen to your call, your response.
All right, thank you for your call. What about that?
Government efficiency. Yeah,
biggie.
That is a big one, and I would like to think at the local level here we are pretty efficient. I think we do a pretty good job with what we've got. I think as you get up in the ranks with our federal government, I think we lose considerable amount of efficiency. Related to this bond issue tomorrow and the tax on that, I think it has a lot more to do with capital facility construction costs for the community college as opposed to government efficiency. It's a $47+ million project. They're asking $25 million from the local voters. The remainder of that will come from the state, which is still our tax money.
Sure.
I do know that these two projects out there, there's the Community College Commission in the state of Wyoming, and they kind of go through and rate for our legislature the priority of these projects. And I know the two that are out there that are on the ballot, it's only one ballot question, but there's two projects, the Student Center as well as the Flexible Technology Center, 1 and 2 in the state. So obviously they're showing a need for that. So I think when you've got that need, you talk about efficiencies of government, and I guess this is a little bit different because it's a capital construction project.
Even so, though, it's needed. I mean, our student body has grown considerably over the last few years, and while this year it's been down a bit from previous years in terms of percentage of growth, it still has grown a great deal, and we're behind the 8 ball to catch up with some of that growth, as I understand what the folks from LCCC say.
Yes, and in my understanding, they've been shuffling classes in and out of different classrooms, buildings to try to make things fit, and it's been a challenge. And got remarkable leadership out there. Dr. Schaefer, I think, is just doing a remarkable job.
Indeed.
With the school.
All right, well, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on with Troy Thompson, our county commissioner.
Hi, Dave. This is Barry.
Hi, Barry. How are you?
Good. Commissioner Thompson, I have just a few things I'd like to ask you. First of all, I'd like to ask you, what have you done for freedom and liberty? And what I mean by this is that all the commissioners should be for limited government, less taxes, less regulation, and lower the county commissioners' pay. I'm asking you what your issues are on this, because I'm also asking, are you going to run again in 2014? Because I'm looking for more conservatives, and I thank you for coming on, but I'd like to hear your views.
All right, thanks for your call.
Yeah, thank you. Good questions there as well. Government is kind of goes back to the government efficiencies, and certainly we talk about commissioner salaries. In 2010 we voted to increase from 3 to 5 commissioners, which caused an increase in the salaries. We started with 5 at the beginning of this year. We had the 2 new positions sworn in, and I would argue that our workforce actually hasn't gone down, going from 3 to 5. I think it's actually increased remarkably. So the question about lowering commissioner salaries, we've talked about this a lot, and we look at that every 4 years, and I believe in 2014 we are going to look at that again, and we'll decide. We look at all the elected officials by state statute. We do that every 4 years, and next year we are up for that. And going from 3 to 5, there's always a discussion that, hey, this is bigger. We're making government bigger. We've got more cost, adding 2 more commissioners, and so we do need to look at the salaries. But I think having being a commissioner that was on 2 years with 3 of us, and now I'll have 2 years with 5 of us. I would tell you our workload has increased and not decreased.
Well, and we brought up one of the things when that was on the ballot. Laramie County had not seen an increase in the number of the commissioners representing the people in over 100 years.
Right.
And yet we had seen a huge increase in population in that 100 years.
Right, certainly.
So people who talk about representation and taxation, we almost needed to increase the number of commissioners to increase the representation. And I think that made a lot of sense at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. You're on with Troy Thompson, Laramie County Commissioner.
Well, good morning, Dave. Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Good morning, Commissioner Thompson.
Good morning, Ron.
I have a little closer to home question here. The Cheyenne Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO, is attempting to implement another one of these United Nations Agenda 21 projects out at Fox Farm with those raised islands that will prevent people from turning left into some of the businesses there and probably do irreparable harm to those businesses. And as bad or perhaps even worse, they're attempting to put one of those hellish nightmare roundabouts at Fox Farm and Avenue C, and neither one of those projects enjoys any support at all from the affected people in the area. It's going to be near them, but from the businesses around there. Could you explain what you personally are doing to try to stop either one of these things from happening? And I'll get off and listen.
Thanks for your call, Ron.
Yeah, good question. Was it hellish nightmare roundabouts?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's the first time I've heard it put like that. You know, the way this process works is the MPO is commissioned to look at a long-term plan, a corridor study, if you will. We had it for the South Greeley Highway. They're in the process of doing that for the Fox Farm corridor as well, and they did talk about those same things that we talked about with the South Greeley Highway study. You know, where you know, roundabouts. Of course, there wasn't one of those South Greeley Highway, but raised islands, things along those lines. Better traffic flow in and out of businesses. I have not seen the plan yet. It went to our planning commission. I don't know if it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but went through the planning commission. They saw it, had a lot of public discussion at that time. It has not come to us yet. So we've seen bits and pieces of it. We had a presentation a few weeks back, but I have not actually seen the entire plan. And certainly in the presentation we got, it talked about the roundabout. And the concern with that roundabout is trucks coming out of the refinery and making it through that roundabout. So, you know, I think we're going to have a similar situation that we had with the South Greeley Highway corridor. I think the county commission is going to look at this. We're going to look at the presentation with an open mind, and then we're going to take a lot of input from the community. And like we did with the again, South Greeley Highway plan, we took a lot of input from the South Cheyenne Community Development Association, and those are the folks that live there. Those are the folks that work there, and then we put a lot of stock into what they say. And actually, if you look at the South Greeley Highway plan, what we did as a commission is we said, listen, MPO, we don't particularly like what you've done with this. We're going to give this to the South Cheyenne Community Development Association and let them come back to us with a plan that we think everybody can be on board with. And I would imagine this is going to have the same type of process through it.
I know at one time there were raised dividers.
I didn't realize
from the top of the hill down past the old Safeway store. There were at one time concrete dividers in there.
Really? I didn't realize
that. And a stoplight at Jefferson and South Greeley Highway.
We've talked a lot about that stoplight.
Yeah.
And the residents down there really see a need for that stoplight. Of course, that comes from WYDOT, you know, Wyoming Department of Transportation, because
they're involved in that.
That is a state highway. So to have a light put up, that would have to come from WYDOT.
Well, they hung up on that one. Let's go to this one. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Are you the owner of that Broadmoor Vet Hospital out here on East Percy?
I am not. I'm the owner of Tri-State Veterinary Clinic.
I'm sorry?
Tri-State Veterinary Clinic?
Well, it's out on East Percy here. I thought it was, the name of it was Broadmoor.
It is, yes. There's a veterinary clinic out there, veterinary clinic and boarding kennel, but I don't own that one.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He can't, he does not.
Did you say you're the owner or not?
He does not own that one. That's a different one.
You do not?
That's right.
Okay, I thought one of the commissioners owned that.
No. Okay,
All right,
thanks for your call. Good morning, you're on the air. Good morning, it's your turn. You're on KJAB.
Tom?
You're on your cell phone, and it's breaking up badly. We can't understand you. So try back once you get on higher ground. Let's talk about sales tax collections, because you were telling me in the break that they're up from projections.
Yeah, they are.
That's good news.
It is. When we did the sixth penny ballot a couple years back, we or I'm sorry, that was last fall, actually, wasn't it? Yeah. We were hoping to collect or continue to collect anywhere from 1.2 to 1.5 million on that 1% sales tax, and it has been significantly better than that. 2 months ago, 1.7 million. This past month, 1.8 million. So, a good indication of how our economy is doing. I mean, people are out there spending money buying things. So
Absolutely.
it's good thing for our community.
Yeah. Good morning. You're on with Troy Thompson, County Commissioner, Laramie County Commission.
Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Barbie. How are you?
Good. I have a couple of questions that I'd like to see if I can get some answers to that I wasn't quite understanding. We have a project impact study, and I was wondering how much are those studies going to cost? I know that they're between city and county, but how much are they going to cost the taxpayers for those studies?
Which study? I guess I'm not sure. Project impact study for what?
All I heard was that there was a project impact study, and that they were going to do. And I'm thinking, okay, how much taxpayer money is being spent on that, and how do you feel about it? I mean, are they studies that we need, and who's doing the studies?
I'm not familiar. I don't know which project you're making reference to. I'm not aware of any project impact studies that the county is doing.
At all?
No.
Okay, and then my other question is the LCCC bond that we're doing.
Yes.
How do you feel about that and the $30 million? I know it's under a bond and it's not whatever, but I believe it's coming out of by increasing property taxes.
Well, he addressed that a little bit, but we'll readdress that for you and give you his take on that. Thanks for your call, Barbie.
Yeah, good question. I should have been a little more clear on that. It is a property tax. It's about 2 mills of property tax, which means if you own a $100,000 house, you're looking at about I believe it's like $1.58 a month. $200,000 house, you're looking at about double that, $4 a month. So yeah, it is a property tax, and like I said before, I'm very proud of Laramie County Community College and the job they're doing out there, and I support them in all of their endeavors. I truly do. I think it's a gem of our community.
All right, we've got to go to the bottom of the hour break. We'll come back and continue our discussion with 8:42. We're back in the morning zone with Laramie County Commissioner Troy Thompson in studio. And if you have questions or comments for Troy, feel free to engage. 1-888-503-6500 toll free, 307-632-6500 or 632-3323. And while we were in break, Troy, going back to Barbie's call, question on the impact study, somebody texted me that they thought that what she was talking about was that Amber Ash and Mayor Kaysen had been talking about an impact study that the city and county were working on, and they thought that was what she had seen in the paper.
Yes, and my apologies to Barbie on that. There was a wind farm being proposed north of here in Platte and Goshen County, and we Commissioner Ash was integrally involved with that and discussed the impacts to Laramie County, and that got her to thinking. And I will tell you, Commissioner Ash, she's a thinker. She's always thinking ahead, and got her thinking. Speaking of impacts, I mean, what could we do here in Laramie County? What are our potentials for if we have something that booms, a huge wind energy project, or if oil and gas just goes crazy? What are we able to absorb given our current situation, current scenario? And so it got her wheels rolling and gears in motion, and she thought, maybe we need to start having some discussions about this. What are our upper limits, and what happens if we push beyond those upper limits? So she set up meetings with Mayor Kaysen and the county commission, and we started discussing this, and we got our planning department and the city's planning department together saying, hey, how do we look at this, and how do we figure out what that upper limit number is, and how do we figure out what to do beyond that? So we have talked about a study. So again, my apologies to Barbie.
It's not in process.
It is not. The last time we met, we talked about potential ways of funding that study, talked about potential grants. I don't think the city or the county at this point has, obviously our budget is already done for the next, fiscal year till next July, and we have not, as a county, talked about putting money towards that study. Depending upon what we look at with grants, things like that, that may be something we discuss during next year's budget cycle. But it's a being proactive, looking at what will we have to do in the future if something big happens? How do we absorb the workers and all of those? You look at North Dakota and what they're dealing with. How can we be prepared to deal with that? And certainly we're a bigger community, bigger county than up at in North Dakota, what they're dealing with with the Bakken play. But still, it's wise to be prepared.
That's right. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the hospital too, because a couple of things going on. Of course, in the midst of a search for a permanent CEO.
Yes, they're still in the process. I met with the hospital board hired a headhunting company called Whitkeefer, and they came in and interviewed members of the community, and Commissioner Holmes and I went and spoke with them. What are we looking for in a CEO, and what do we want this CEO to do? What do we want him to be? And we also touched on what do we want for the future of our hospital, which is a very, very challenging question to answer. And I think the county commission and the hospital board understands that although we have a very solid hospital institution and we are doing very well, the management of the hospital has done a great job financially with the hospital. There's been zero tax money going into our hospital, been self-sufficient for years. We also understand that there are challenges on the horizon. You don't have to look any farther than Obamacare to realize what we need to be looking forward, looking into the future. And I think we're all very comfortable with this being a county hospital, but we also understand there's challenges on the horizon, and we need a CEO that will be able to get us through those. So they're in that process. It was a great conversation Commissioner Holmes and I had with Whitkeefer, and boy, it'll be interesting to see what they bring back to our hospital board.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on with County Commissioner Troy Thompson.
Yeah, good morning. I would just like to ask the Commissioner, will there ever come a time where the county and the city and the state have enough money and have enough buildings? Didn't we just build you guys a $55 million complex?
What the Archer complex? Yeah.
Wasn't that $55 million?
I don't recall the exact number on that. That seems high. I thought it was in the tune of like 32.
But I think that's right.
Tell me, what is the maintenance? What do you charge what do you get charged a year to maintain that $55 million complex?
We have got a maintenance staff at the county, so I would have to go back and look at the budget numbers, the difference from when the Archer complex opened until now, and it has, anytime you build facilities like that, you need increased maintenance personnel to work on it. One of the things that was done before that election, was that the 2006 election, Dave? They did a facilities study plan and looking out long term, what are we going to need for facilities? And since the Archer complex is open, we've got our planning department out there, we have got public works out there, we have got the coroner out there, and we've got our emergency management. So you would think then, with all those folks moving out there, that we would have all this extra room in the county facility downtown, and we absolutely do not. The public defender's office, we're by state statute required to provide them office space. They had to come in. Well, you can't put your public defenders and your district attorney in the same building, because you could potentially have victims riding in the same elevator, which obviously doesn't work. Right. So we had to have office space for the public defenders in the new courthouse building, and then we've got the district attorney who has taken over the entire second floor of the old courthouse. So we're full, and we're constantly looking and moving, and we had to move our IT department, from the new courthouse up to the fourth floor of the old courthouse, where emergency management moved from, to get the public defenders in there. So, yeah, we do have a new complex, and we've got more facilities. The facilities are full. I suppose if the ideal thing would be to not have increased crime, and we wouldn't need the district attorney and the public defenders, but unfortunately that is not the case, and those staffs continue to grow with increased crime, and again, by state statute we're required to provide them office space.
Now, coming back to the question of the hospital, one of the other topics that's come up in our open line time was the article that was in the paper, I think a week ago maybe, on the hospital change of policy relative to collecting co-pays before providing service.
Correct. Which
was kind of something new for them, and a couple of the board members even questioned that and voted against that. What's the county commission's view on all of that?
Yeah, I'm the county commissioner liaison to the hospital board, so I was at the meeting where that was discussed, and that's a tough one. We sit in those meetings, and every month we get the report on how much has to be written off from bad debt, and boy, you look at it from I'm been a small businessman for the past 15 years, and you think about, boy, you look at bad debt that you're writing off, that's money out of your pocket, and so the hospital's looking at a way to collect that, like any business would do. Hey, listen, we've got this problem, we are losing money. That is money that we have earned, we have made, and have not been paid. So they're looking at ways to I guess try to lower that number that we have to write off in bad debt every month. Now, what has not changed is the fact that there is still charity care, and the fact that we still have people that come in, and if they can't afford medical care, they still get medical care. Okay. So it's not like we're saying, hey, listen, if you don't have your checkbook, boy, don't come into the emergency room, we're not going to set your broken arm. That is not the case. Okay. What is the case is we're trying to be proactive to bring that bottom line down.
All right. And back to the phones we go. Good morning. Well, they hung up. They held all the way through, and then they hung up before we got to them. A lot of work on county roads. Been taking a beating with some of the truck traffic the oil play brought, and a lot of work going on this summer trying to fix that.
And then you throw in all that rain at one time, and oh my goodness, our roads just absolutely took a beating. And so we are... I think we're getting closer to getting on top of that. I mean, that rain destroyed our roads, and then you have truck traffic on roads that are washed out with rain, and it makes it, boy, that much worse. But I take my hat off to those guys in the Public Works Department, because they just work continuously, and there's no more thankless job in the county than those guys, because they get one road done and go to the next and the next and the next, and it's
time to start over again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, but we're I think finally getting back on top of the road situation.
Oh, good. All right, then back to the phones. You're on with County Commissioner Troy Thompson.
So, from what I understand, everything's going very well this year as far as taxes. We're over budget, and it seems like we have plenty of money. Is that correct?
Well, when we talked about the taxes, that's actually not a budget number. It's the report we get is on the sixth penny tax, and it gives the breakout. Pine Bluffs had projects, Burns, Albin, City of Cheyenne, Laramie County. So it's the collection of that to pay for the construction of those projects.
So it's just ahead of schedule.
It's ahead of schedule. Collection is ahead of schedule. So it's really not general fund money. We don't have increased general fund money.
Okay. Well, my biggest problem is that the county keeps asking for more money and more money to do different projects, the Archer Complex, Bell CCC, that's going to involve some tax money and things like that. And I'm wondering why it is that we keep having to raise taxes and get more money when it seems like none of the money is going to things to, like say, keep our essential employees here in Laramie County and keep them competitive.
All right. We'll let Troy answer your question. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Good question. So I guess I'm going to back up a little bit, and the question, is our we've got excess budget. I mean, we don't have excess budget, and again, we're talking about the 6-penny collection, but our budget does look good, and we look good. In Laramie County, much better than other counties across the state, and this brings us back a great question about keeping essential employees. And we were able to give our county employees a modest raise this past budget cycle, and they haven't had a raise in 5 years. But that's an excellent question. And keeping employees, boy, you go back to those public works folks, and boy, we train them up to be a road grader, and then industry comes in and pays them significantly more, and that is always a challenge. But certainly, investing in those employees by giving them a pay raise this budget cycle was helpful. Yeah, and again, going back to the LCCC situation, I mean, it's you're talking a bond issue to build, to build facilities that are much needed at the college, and if they don't get the bond issue, then you got to look at how else are they going to do that. I mean, potentially 6th penny. I don't know that LCCC has ever been on the 6-penny budget, or even if they could be, but otherwise you're looking at what do you do? Do you charge the students that much more in tuition? I don't know.
And they've kind of been able to do all of that before, and it's finally come down to the need for growth that they need to go and ask the public for a bond issue. And the thing about it is that the public does get to vote, yay or nay, on this.
That's exactly right.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, the other thing, I guess if I could touch on really fast, people have asked, God, why are we doing this now? Why a special election? And two things with that. When we were going through on the 6-penny committee, looking at when do we have the election? Do we have it in August at the primary? Do we have it in November at the general? Or do we have a special election, in May or whenever? And oh my goodness, there were so many people with so many opinions, well, it's better to do it now, or this is the reason to do it in the general, this is why you should do it in the primary, and tough questions to answer, but I do know that LCCC looked at that, and there are two things. Number one, interest rates are low, and when you're looking at bonds, you want low interest rates, and I think right now it's at 3.6%, which is remarkable. And then the other thing was timing to get this through the legislature, because again, they'll collect up to $25 million with the mill levy, and then the rest of it, the $47 million project, will come from the legislature, from the state. So they need time to get in front of the legislature.
Well, Troy, I want to thank you for coming in and updating our listeners on what's happening at the county, and for keeping us ahead of what's going on. And we appreciate that, appreciate the work that you and the other commissioners do, and all the county employees, and we thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Absolutely my pleasure to be here. I'm just amazed at how fast this goes.
It does.
Have a great day.
Well, we'll have you back again soon.
Hey, thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
You're in the Morning Zone on AM 650 KGAB.
Businesses thrive and grow through the power of advertising. Do you have the know-how and commitment to help them use that power? Town Square Media is looking for a sales account executive for the Cheyenne and Laramie communities. You represent an exciting mix of broadcast radio, high-traffic digital sites, and live special events. So you'll have the flexibility to tailor campaigns that are targeted to your clients' needs. What do you need to bring to the table? Dependability, passion, strong communication, and problem-solving skills, business acumen, and a sense of what it takes to win are essential. Previous broadcast and or digital sales experience is a plus. You'll be on the street, making contacts every day. It takes drive and determination, but if you do it right, you'll succeed not just for yourself, but for your clients as well. If you've got the right stuff, we want to talk to you. Send your resume to Leslie Hill at townsquaremedia.com. That's Leslie Hill at townsquaremedia.com. An equal opportunity employer.
Point Frontier Retirement Community invites you, your family, and friends to join them for a complimentary lunch and tour. Their sales department is available all week long, including weekends. For more than 24 years, Point Frontier residents have enjoyed independence, 3 restaurant-style meals, luxury transportation with a chauffeur, 24-hour emergency response system, housekeeping, and active recreational and wellness programs. Call Lisa or Ollie to schedule your complimentary lunch and tour by calling 635-6953. Point Frontier Retirement Community. Don't settle for less.
Explore the unexplained. Coast to Coast AM. Late nights on AM 650 KGAB.
All right, football fans, get ready to root on your favorite pro team wherever they are with KGAB's next big game giveaway. Brought to you by Terrell Doyle Auto Centers, exclusive home of the Drive Forever program. You can win air, hotels, spending cash, game tickets, and all now at kgab.com. Check it out. When we come back, open line time for you to weigh in and be our guest and to talk about whatever's on your mind this morning in the Morning Zone. 1-888-503-6500 is our toll-free line. Use that if you're listening on the far reaches of our AM 650 KGAB radio signal around the Mountain West, or worldwide on the internet at kgab.com, or even on your app for Android or iPhone, Radio Pup. If you don't have that yet, you can download it free at kgab.com. And you can also email us. Just go to kgab.com, click on Contact Us. Locally, our phone number's 307-632-6500 or 632-3320.
KGAB Orchard Valley, Cheyenne. Online at kgab.com. AM 650 KGAB. A Wild Preps radio station.